You are the one who holds everything together, the one who remembers birthdays, checks if everyone ate, listens to problems at 2 in the morning, and sacrifices sleep just to make sure someone else feels safe. But let me ask you, when was the last time someone asked, "How are you really?" It's a silent paradox of life. The people who care the most often receive the least care in return. You pour yourself out like an endless river, but what happens when the source begins to dry? Behind the smiles, behind the strength, there is a weight no one sees. Carl Jung once said that what we neglect within ourselves eventually demands attention in painful ways. If you are always the healer, the supporter, the shoulder to cry on, who heals you? Stay until the end of this video, because the answer may change not only how you see others, but how you finally see yourself, the silent weight you carry. There is a kind of silence that no one else can hear. It is the silence that follows you when you lay your head on the pillow at night, after the house has grown quiet, after you have solved everyone else's problems, but ignored your own. This silence is not peaceful, it is heavy. It presses on your chest, it steals your breath, it whispers that something is missing, and yet nobody sees it. They only see your strength, your ability to manage everything, your smile that says, "I'm fine," but you are not fine. Deep inside, you feel a weight that words rarely touch. It is the exhaustion of being everything for everyone, while rarely being anything for yourself. You have learned to hold, to comfort, to rescue, to support. You have become the reliable one, the strong one, the one who always shows up. And because of that, others assume you never need help. But what Jung understood is that what we repress in the unconscious never disappears. It grows, it waits, and one day it shows itself through fatigue, emptiness, or even illness. The silent weight you carry is more than tiredness. It is the accumulated burden of self-neglect. Every time you ignore your needs, you add one more stone to the invisible backpack on your shoulders. At first, it feels manageable. You tell yourself, "I'll rest later. I'll take care of me when things calm down. They need me more than I need myself." But later never comes. And with each sacrifice, the backpack grows heavier. The paradox is cruel. The more capable you are, the more others lean on you. And the more they lean, the less space you have to stand upright. Your inner world becomes a place where no one visits because you have locked the door yourself. You fear being a burden, so you pretend you have no needs. You fear being seen as weak, so you polish your mask of strength, but the unconscious keeps the score. Jung often spoke about the shadow, the parts of ourselves we push away, deny, or ignore. In your case, the shadow may be your vulnerability, your longing to be held, your hunger to be cared for. Because society praises the one who gives and shames the one who asks too much, you bury your softer side. Yet this buried part is the very essence of your humanity. The silent weight shows up in subtle ways. You might feel a restlessness you cannot explain. You might notice that even when you are surrounded by people, you feel alone. You might sense that joy has become dim, like a candle struggling against the wind. These are signals. They are the psyche's way of saying, it's time to look inward. It's time to care for the one who cares for everyone. This weight cannot be solved by simply sleeping more or taking a short break. Rest helps, but it does not touch the root. The root is deeper. It is the belief that your value comes only from what you give to others. It is the hidden fear that if you stop giving, you will stop being loved. This is the prison that keeps you chained, even when the world sees you as free. To face this silent burden, you must begin by listening to yourself again. Your needs are not selfish. Your longings are not weakness. Your emotions are not inconveniences to be silenced. They are messages from your soul, guiding you back to balance. The unconscious cries out through fatigue, tears, and even anger, not to punish you, but to awaken you. Jung believed that healing begins when we bring the unconscious into light. That means acknowledging the silent weight you carry instead of pretending it isn't there. It means admitting that you are tired. It means allowing yourself to say, "I need help." It means breaking the pattern of always giving while never receiving. Your silence is not noble if it destroys you. Your strength is not real if it hides your suffering. And your love for others is not complete if it does not include love for yourself. The silent weight you carry is not meant to be yours alone. By facing it, by naming it, by allowing yourself to be cared for, you begin the journey back to wholeness. And maybe, just maybe, the silence will finally become peace, when strength becomes a cage. From the outside, strength looks like a blessing. People admire you because you can handle things others avoid. You are seen as dependable, capable, unshakable. But when you are always the strong one, something unexpected happens. Your own strength becomes a prison. What once gave you respect now keeps you trapped. At first, being strong feels empowering. You solve problems, you carry burdens, you hold others together when they would otherwise fall apart. But over time, strength stops being a choice. It becomes a role you can't escape. People stop asking if you are tired. They stop checking if you are okay. They simply assume you will endure because you always have. And so the cage closes, quietly and invisibly around your life. Carl Jung warned that what we identify with too much can consume us. If you define yourself only as the strong one, then weakness becomes forbidden. Vulnerability feels dangerous. Rest feels selfish. Asking for help feels impossible. And so, even when your soul is screaming for care, your mask of strength silences it. You become both the jailer and the prisoner. This cage is subtle. It's built not from iron, but from expectations, both yours and others. Every time you say, "I'm fine," when you are not, another bar is added. Every time you suppress your tears, another lock clicks shut. Every time you push through exhaustion instead of resting, the walls close tighter. And soon, you can no longer tell the difference between who you are and the role you play. The irony is cruel. Strength was supposed to protect you, but now it isolates you. It creates distance between you and others because they cannot see the truth behind your resilience. They admire you, but they do not truly know you. They lean on you, but they cannot hold you. And in the quiet of your heart, you begin to wonder, if I wasn't strong, would they still love me? Jung's psychology helps us see that every quality has a shadow. The shadow of strength is isolation. The shadow of resilience is loneliness. The shadow of independence is the fear of dependence. When you cling to one side of the coin, you inevitably deny the other. And denying your vulnerability does not make it disappear. It only drives it deeper into the unconscious, where it waits to resurface in unhealthy ways. You might notice it in the moments when your body betrays you. Illness, fatigue, headaches, even anxiety, these can all be signs that your psyche is trying to break the cage. Or you might notice it in sudden bursts of anger, irritability, or tears that come without reason. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of life. They are your inner self begging for freedom. The truth is simple but uncomfortable. Strength without softness is not real strength. It is armor. And armor, if worn too long, becomes unbearably heavy. True resilience does not mean carrying everything alone. It means knowing when to put the armor down. It means having the courage to say, "I cannot do this all by myself." The cage of strength also robs you of intimacy. Real connection comes from being seen as you are, not as the image you project. When you never allow yourself to be vulnerable, others never truly see you. They see your mask, not your soul. And so, even surrounded by people, you feel unseen. Even loved by many, you feel unknown. To escape this cage, you must reclaim the parts of yourself you have locked away. Start by admitting to yourself that it's okay to be tired. It's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to cry, to break, to rest. These are not failures. They are human truths. Jung believed that wholeness comes not from perfection, but from integration. That means embracing both your strength and your weakness, both your light and your shadow. The moment you allow yourself to be cared for, the bars of the cage begin to dissolve. The moment you let someone see your struggle, the locks start to open. And the moment you stop pretending you can carry everything, freedom quietly enters. Remember, the strongest people are not those who never fall. They are those who allow themselves to rise again after admitting they needed a hand to get up. So ask yourself, is your strength still serving you, or has it become a cage? And more importantly, are you ready to step out of it? If you've ever felt drained from giving too much, the Jung Method can help you restore balance. It shows the hidden patterns of love and the unconscious that shape every bond. The link is pinned in the first comment. The hidden hunger for care. Deep inside every person lives a simple longing to be seen, to be held, to be cared for without needing to earn it. For those who always care for others, this longing often becomes hidden. You bury it, telling yourself, you don't need what you freely give. You convince yourself that being strong is enough, that your role is to pour into others, not to receive. Yet the hunger does not disappear. It waits quietly, and it grows. This hidden hunger reveals itself in subtle ways. Sometimes it appears as exhaustion that no amount of sleep can cure. Other times, it shows up as loneliness even when you are surrounded by people. You may feel a strange emptiness, like something is missing but you cannot name it. That emptiness is not weakness, it is a signal. It is your soul whispering, I need care too. Carl Jung taught that the parts of ourselves we neglect do not vanish. They retreat into the unconscious, where they influence us in ways we don't recognize. When you deny your own need for care, it doesn't make you stronger. It makes you more fragile. The hunger still exists, but now it seeks unhealthy outlets. You may find yourself craving attention, overworking, or clinging to relationships that drain you, all in a desperate attempt to fill the void. The tragedy is that many people mistake this hunger for a flaw. They think needing care means they are not strong enough. They believe asking for support makes them less valuable. But the truth is the opposite. The need for care is not a flaw. It is a fundamental part of being human. Even the strongest tree must draw water from the soil. Even the brightest flame needs oxygen to burn. And even the most giving heart needs to be nourished. The hidden hunger for care also shapes your relationships. When you never admit your needs, others never learn how to meet them. They assume you are fine because that is what you show. They keep taking, not out of cruelty, but out of ignorance. And the more invisible your needs become, the louder your unconscious cries. You may find yourself overreacting, snapping at small things, or withdrawing completely. These are not random moods. They are the hunger breaking through the silence. Jung often spoke about individuation, the process of becoming whole. A key step in this journey is reclaiming the parts of yourself you have ignored. For you, that means recognizing that your hunger for care is not childish. It is sacred. It is the part of you that longs to be nurtured, loved, and held without conditions. By denying it, you cut off half of your soul. By embracing it, you return to balance. But how do you begin? The first step is honesty. You must allow yourself to admit, I want to be cared for. Saying this out loud may feel strange, even frightening, but it is powerful. It cracks open the door of the unconscious and lets light in. The second step is learning to receive. This may be the hardest of all. When someone offers help, instead of saying, I'm fine, try saying, thank you, I would appreciate that. Small acts of receiving teach your mind that it is safe to be nurtured. Another way to feed this hunger is through self-care, but not in the shallow sense of buying things or distracting yourself. True self-care is deeper. It means giving yourself time to rest without guilt. It means creating boundaries to protect your energy. It means listening to your own needs with the same compassion you give to others. When you begin to nurture yourself, you show your unconscious that you matter too. The hidden hunger for care also connects to your inner child, the part of you that once depended on others for safety and love. Many people who become caretakers grew up in environments where they learned to give more than they received. Perhaps you were praised for being helpful or punished for showing need. Over time, you learned that love was conditional and you silenced your inner child, but that child never disappeared. They are still inside you, waiting for your embrace. To tend to this inner child, imagine speaking to yourself with the gentleness you would give to someone you love. Say, I see you, I hear you, you are allowed to need, you are allowed to rest. By doing this, you begin to satisfy the hunger that has been hidden for so long. The truth is clear, no one can thrive by only giving. Just as the body needs food, the heart needs care. Ignoring this hunger leads only to emptiness and resentment. Embracing it leads to renewal and wholeness. Jung would remind you that balance is the key, giving and receiving, strength and softness, light and shadow. The hidden hunger for care is not your weakness. It is your guide. It is the voice of your soul, reminding you that you are worthy of the same love you give so freely. And once you begin to feed that hunger, not only do you heal, you also discover that your capacity to love others grows stronger than ever before. The mask of I'm fine. There are few words more deceiving than I'm fine. They slip out of your mouth automatically, almost like a reflex. Someone asks how you are doing, and without thinking, you smile and say, I'm fine. But deep inside, you are not. You are exhausted, overwhelmed, lonely, or even hurting, yet the mask stays in place. And with each time you wear it, the distance between your inner truth and your outer image grows wider. Carl Jung often spoke about the persona, the mask we wear to adapt to the expectations of the world. The persona itself is not bad. It helps us function, interact, and survive in society. But when the mask becomes too rigid, when you forget it is only a mask, it suffocates your true self. For the caretaker, the persona is often the role of the strong, reliable one. It tells the world, I can handle it all, don't worry about me. And soon people stop worrying. The danger is that the mask becomes so convincing that even you start believing it. You convince yourself that you should be fine, that your struggles are small compared to others, that your pain does not deserve space. But repressing your truth never erases it. It only pushes it deeper into the unconscious. And what hides in the unconscious does not stay quiet forever. It leaks through in fatigue, mood swings, or sudden moments of despair. The mask of I'm fine also blocks intimacy. Real connection can only exist when two people are willing to show what is real. When you always wear the mask, others never get to see your true face. They admire your strength, but do not touch your vulnerability. They thank you for your help, but do not realize you need support too. The result is a one-sided relationship where you give endlessly but rarely receive. This pattern often starts early in life. Many caretakers learned as children that being strong, silent, or helpful brought approval. Maybe you were praised for being responsible or ignored when you expressed need. Over time, you learned to hide your struggles behind the safe phrase, I'm fine. And even as an adult, the mask remains, protecting you but also imprisoning you. Jung believed that healing begins when we dare to confront the masks we wear. That does not mean throwing them away entirely. It means recognizing when they no longer serve us. For you, it means noticing when I'm fine is a lie. It means daring to answer honestly, even if only to yourself. No, I'm not fine, and that's okay. The first step to removing the mask is awareness. Begin paying attention to how often you say, you are fine. Each time, pause and ask yourself, Am I really fine or am I hiding? This simple question cracks the mask and allows light to enter. The second step is vulnerability. Choose safe people, friends, partners, or even a journal, and share what is real. Speak your truth without apology. You may be surprised at how freeing it feels to let the mask slip. Of course, showing vulnerability feels risky. You may fear judgment, rejection, or appearing weak, but vulnerability is not weakness, it is courage. It is choosing authenticity over performance, truth over image. And in that courage, you find the intimacy your soul has been craving. Another way to dissolve the mask is through self-compassion. Instead of pressuring yourself to always be strong, allow yourself to be human. Say to yourself, it's okay to not be fine today. It's okay to rest. It's okay to feel. By offering yourself this kindness, you create an inner space where your true self is safe to emerge. The mask of "I'm fine" is heavy because it hides not only your pain, but also your joy. When you repress the negative, you also numb the positive. Life becomes flat, muted, colorless. By removing the mask, you allow the full spectrum of emotion to return: sadness and joy, pain and beauty, weakness and strength. This is what Jung meant by integration, not choosing one side of yourself, but embracing both. So ask yourself, how long have you been saying you are fine when you are not? How much longer can you carry the mask before it cracks? The truth is that you do not need to wait until collapse to begin showing what is real. You can choose today to lower the mask, to let someone see you, to let yourself see you. Because the moment you stop hiding behind "I'm fine," you discover something powerful. Not only do others care more than you think, but you also realize that you are worthy of care, exactly as you are. When giving too much drains your soul, there is a quiet danger in always giving. You forget where the line is. At first, giving feels natural, even joyful. You help, you comfort, you offer your time and energy. You feel useful, needed, important. But slowly, without noticing, giving becomes endless. You say yes when your body begs for rest. You listen when your mind is already tired. You show up for others when your heart feels empty, and over time, something inside begins to wither. Carl Jung observed that imbalance in the psyche always leads to consequences. When you give too much without receiving, you create a deep split inside yourself. One part continues to serve and smile, while another part grows bitter, exhausted, and unseen. This split does not stay hidden forever. It emerges as burnout, resentment, or a numbness that steals the joy from life. Giving is not the problem. The human soul is wired to connect, to share, to care. The problem is when giving becomes a one-way street. When you constantly pour out without allowing anything back in, your soul dries like a riverbed without rain. And yet, many caretakers convince themselves this is noble. They believe self-sacrifice is love. They believe exhaustion is proof of worth. But love without balance is not love, it is depletion. This depletion shows itself in many ways. You may notice that your patience runs thin, even with the people you love most. You may feel emotionally numb, unable to feel joy even in moments that once made you smile. You may begin to dread the very responsibilities you once embraced. These are not signs that you are broken, they are signs that your soul is drained. Jung's wisdom reminds us that what we repress always returns. When you silence your own needs in the name of caring for others, those needs do not disappear. They come back as fatigue, as irritability, as quiet sadness. They demand attention, and if ignored long enough, they can even manifest as illness. The body and psyche work together, and both will fight to remind you when the balance has been lost. The tragedy of giving too much is that it often goes unnoticed. Others assume you are fine because you rarely complain. They take your yes as a sign of willingness, not realizing it is sometimes born from guilt or fear of disappointing, and so the cycle continues. They ask, you give, you weaken. The more you give, the less you have left, and the less you have, the less you feel like yourself. To break this cycle, you must first recognize that boundaries are not selfish. They are sacred. A river cannot flow forever if it has no source. Likewise, you cannot keep giving if your soul is empty. True generosity comes from overflow, not from depletion. When you give from a full heart, your care nourishes others. When you give from emptiness, it slowly destroys you. Reclaiming balance begins with small steps. Start by asking yourself before saying yes, do I truly have the energy for this right now? If the answer is no, practice the courage to say no. At first, it will feel uncomfortable, maybe even wrong. But over time, you will learn that protecting your energy allows you to give more authentically. You will see that the world does not collapse when you put yourself first. Another step is learning to receive. Let others help you, even in small ways. Accept kindness without guilt. Remember that receiving is not weakness. It is part of the flow of life. Jung believed wholeness is found in balance, in the harmony of opposites. Giving and receiving are two sides of the same truth. Deny one, and you lose both. There is also a need to confront the hidden beliefs that drive overgiving. Many caretakers hold an unconscious fear that if they stop giving, they will lose love. This belief traps them in cycles of self-sacrifice. But love that depends only on what you give is not love. It is dependence. True love values who you are, not only what you do. As you begin to restore balance, you will notice something powerful. Your giving becomes lighter, more joyful. Your presence feels fuller because it is no longer born from emptiness. You rediscover the beauty of helping others while also honoring yourself. And slowly, the soul that once felt drained begins to flow again like a river after rain. The truth is simple but life-changing. Giving without limit is not love. It is abandonment of self. But giving with balance, rooted in self-care and wholeness, becomes a gift that blesses both you and those you love. Jung would remind you that the greatest service you can offer the world is to live in harmony with your own soul. From that place, your care becomes not a burden, but a source of light. Why it hurts when no one notices. There is a unique kind of pain that comes not from rejection, but from invisibility. You give, you show up, you support others in countless ways, and yet no one seems to notice. They thank you in passing, perhaps, but they rarely pause to see the depth of your effort, the sacrifices you make silently. This absence of recognition leaves a wound that is hard to name, but deeply felt. Carl Jung explained that the human soul craves meaning. We do not live by bread alone, we live by significance. When your actions are unseen, when your care goes unacknowledged, it feels as though your existence has been blurred. You start to wonder if anyone truly knows you. You may even question your worth, asking, if I stopped giving, would anyone care? Would anyone notice my absence? This pain is not about vanity, it is about connection. To be human is to long for recognition, not in the shallow sense of praise, but in the deep sense of being seen. When no one notices your quiet sacrifices, your soul begins to ache. The ache says, I matter too. I'm not just a background character in the story of others. I'm a living, breathing being who deserves to be valued. The hurt deepens because invisibility often follows patterns set long ago. Many who become caretakers grew up in environments where they were overlooked. Perhaps their needs were minimized or their efforts were taken for granted. Over time, they learned that love had to be earned through service, and even then, it was rarely enough. As adults, they repeat this pattern, hoping one day someone will finally notice, but often the cycle continues. The unconscious holds onto this wound. Jung believed that unresolved patterns from childhood echo into adulthood until they are faced. So when no one notices you now, it stirs old feelings of being unseen. The pain is not only about the present, it is about every moment in the past when you longed for recognition and did not receive it. That is why it cuts so deeply. This invisible wound shows itself in subtle ways. You may feel resentful without fully understanding why. You may feel an emptiness even in relationships that appear healthy. Or you may find yourself overdoing, working harder, giving more, in the hope that finally someone will stop and say, "I see you." But often the more you give, the less others notice, because they assume your care is endless. Healing this hurt begins with acknowledging it. Say to yourself, "It hurts when no one notices." Naming the pain is not weakness, it is strength. It is the first step toward wholeness. Jung taught that what we make conscious no longer controls us. By admitting the wound, you begin to free yourself from its silent grip. The next step is shifting your source of recognition. Instead of waiting for others to see you, begin to see yourself. This does not mean becoming selfish. It means practicing self-honor. Start noticing your own efforts. Say to yourself, "I did something meaningful today." Celebrate your small victories, your quiet sacrifices. The more you recognize yourself, the less desperate you become for outside validation. Another path to healing is surrounding yourself with people who value authenticity. True connection is built not on what you do, but on who you are. Seek relationships where you can be vulnerable, where you do not have to perform strength or constantly give to earn love. In these spaces, you will begin to feel noticed, not for your actions, but for your being. Jung's idea of individuation, the journey to becoming whole, requires reclaiming your own value. It is not enough to hope others will see you. You must see yourself. You must tell your own soul, "I matter, I am enough," even when no one says it. When this truth takes root, the wound of invisibility begins to heal. Of course, it is still painful when others fail to notice. That pain may never disappear entirely, but as you learn to hold yourself with compassion, the pain transforms. It becomes less a wound and more a reminder to choose spaces and people where you are valued, and to never again make yourself invisible just to keep others comfortable. The truth is this: it will always hurt when no one notices, because the soul longs to be seen. But the deepest healing begins when you choose to see yourself first, and from that place of self-recognition, you can finally attract relationships where your light is not overlooked, but cherished. Learning to receive without guilt. For those who spend their lives caring for others, receiving often feels unnatural. When someone offers help, you may instinctively say, "No, it's okay, I've got it." When someone shows kindness, you brush it off as unnecessary. When love is given freely, you secretly wonder if you truly deserve it. Receiving, instead of feeling warm, feels uncomfortable. It carries guilt, as though by accepting care, you are somehow stealing from someone else. This guilt is born from deep unconscious patterns. Carl Jung explained that what we repress becomes shadow, hidden but powerful. Many caretakers repress their own needs, convinced that to need is to be weak. Over time, this belief hardens. Giving is noble, receiving is selfish. And so, when care is directed toward you, your shadow whispers, "Don't take it. You don't deserve it. You're only valuable when you give." But this belief is a lie. Receiving is not theft. It is balance. The human heart was not designed to give endlessly without return. Love, like breath, must move in and out. You inhale, you exhale. You give, you receive. To block one half of the cycle is to suffocate the soul. The guilt around receiving often shows itself in subtle ways. Maybe you feel uneasy when someone compliments you. Instead of accepting, you minimize yourself. It's nothing, or anyone could have done it. Or when a friend offers support, you hesitate, calculating how you will repay them later. Even in relationships, you may feel uncomfortable being the one cared for, quickly shifting the focus back to the other person. These small moments reveal how deeply the guilt runs. Jung would remind us that guilt is often a signal that something in the psyche is out of harmony. In this case, the guilt is not about doing wrong. It is about betraying the false image you have lived by. The persona you wear, the strong and selfless giver, feels threatened when you step outside the role. And so guilt rises, not because receiving is wrong, but because it challenges the mask. To heal, you must learn to sit with this discomfort and see it for what it is. A sign that you are breaking free from the cage of overgiving. Start small. When someone offers you kindness, pause before rejecting it. Instead of saying no, try saying yes. Let yourself accept without rushing to give back immediately. The guilt may whisper, but with time, the whisper fades. Another step is practicing gratitude instead of apology. Many caretakers respond to kindness by apologizing. Sorry to bother you, or sorry you had to do this for me. Replace apology with gratitude. Thank you, I appreciate this. Gratitude opens the heart, apology closes it. By choosing gratitude, you affirm that receiving is not a burden, but a gift. It is also important to reframe how you see love itself. Real love is not a transaction. It does not keep score. When someone cares for you, it is not because they expect something in return. It is because they value you. If you only allow yourself to give and never to receive, you deny others the chance to express their love. You rob them of the joy of giving. Learning to receive is not only for you, it is for them too. Self-reflection can help you uncover the roots of this guilt. Ask yourself, when did I learn that receiving was wrong? Maybe it was in childhood, when asking for too much led to disappointment or shame. Maybe it was in adulthood, when you carried so many roles that you forgot you had needs of your own. By tracing the origin, you bring the unconscious belief into light, and once seen, it begins to lose power. Jung believed individuation, the journey to wholeness, requires embracing both opposites. For you, that means integrating not only the giver, but also the receiver. It means accepting that your humanity includes both strength and dependence, generosity and need. To deny one side is to live half a life. To embrace both is to finally live whole. With practice, receiving becomes natural. You begin to feel joy when others support you, not guilt. You allow love to reach you, not just flow through you. And in this balance, your giving becomes healthier, lighter, freer. You no longer give to prove your worth. You give because you are already filled. The truth is simple. Learning to receive without guilt is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is choosing balance over exhaustion, truth over persona, wholeness over emptiness. And once you allow yourself to receive, you will discover something powerful. You are not only the caretaker of others, you are also worthy of being cared for. Choosing yourself without apology. At some point, every caretaker reaches a crossroads. One path leads to continuing as always, giving without limit, wearing the mask of strength, silencing needs, waiting for someone to notice. The other path leads to something unfamiliar but life-changing, choosing yourself, not with apology, not with guilt, but with courage and clarity. Choosing yourself does not mean abandoning others. It does not mean closing your heart or becoming selfish. It means remembering that you are part of the circle too. If you pour into everyone else while leaving yourself empty, you betray not only your soul, but also the quality of your love. Jung often spoke about individuation, the process of becoming whole. Wholeness comes when you integrate every part of yourself, the giver and the receiver, the strong and the vulnerable, the light and the shadow. Choosing yourself is the act of stepping toward that wholeness. This choice often feels uncomfortable at first. After years of living for others, the idea of resting, saying no, or asking for help may feel wrong. You may hear the old voice of guilt whisper, "You're letting people down, you're being selfish." But guilt is not truth. It is a ghost of past conditioning. Real truth sounds different. It whispers, "You matter too. You are worthy too." When you begin to choose yourself, something shifts. Your body relaxes because it finally feels heard. Your mind clears because it no longer carries every burden alone. Your heart grows lighter because it realizes love was never meant to be sacrifice without end. You discover that caring for yourself does not reduce your love for others, it multiplies it. A full cup overflows naturally. An empty one has nothing left to give. The beauty of this journey is that choosing yourself creates ripple effects. The people around you begin to learn by watching. When you honor your limits, you teach others to honor theirs. When you show vulnerability, you give permission for others to do the same. When you step out of the cage of endless strength, you inspire others to lay down their masks. In healing yourself, you become a mirror of healing for the world. But choosing yourself also requires courage. It means setting boundaries and sticking to them even when others don't understand. It means allowing yourself to rest without guilt, even if tasks remain undone. It means saying no, not to reject love, but to preserve it. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors. They protect what is sacred inside you while allowing healthy connection with the outside world. Jung reminded us that the soul always seeks balance. If you have lived only in giving, your soul will call you back to receiving. If you have lived only in strength, your soul will call you back to softness. Choosing yourself is answering that call. It is saying, "I am no longer willing to abandon myself in the name of love. I choose to love myself too." This choice transforms the way you experience life. Relationships become more genuine because you are no longer hiding behind masks. Love becomes more balanced because you no longer give from emptiness. Your sense of identity becomes clearer because you are no longer defined only by what you do for others, but also by who you are at your core. Imagine for a moment a life where you no longer carry the silent weight alone. A life where you can admit when you are not fine and be met with compassion instead of judgment. A life where receiving feels natural and where care flows both ways. That life is possible, but it begins with the decision to choose yourself. So, let me ask you, as Jung might have, how much longer will you live split in two, one side giving endlessly, the other starving in silence? How much longer will you wait for others to notice before you finally notice yourself? The truth is, you don't have to wait. You can choose today. Choosing yourself without apology is the ultimate act of courage. It is not a betrayal of others. It is an act of honesty with yourself. And in that honesty, you discover something sacred. You were never meant to only take care of everyone else. You were meant to live fully, to love fully, to be cared for fully. So as we close this reflection, I invite you to remember you matter too. Your soul deserves the same care you so freely give. And if no one has told you this today, let these words sink in. You are worthy of love, attention, and rest, just as you are. If this message spoke to you, take a moment now to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us in future reflections. Here you will always find content to support your journey of healing, self-discovery, and emotional strength. Because caring for yourself is not selfish. It is the foundation of a life lived whole,